Perfect. Get started.
Sure you don't prefer the other one? No. All right. It looks like recessive in background and like mystical and whatever. It could do with color, but we're out in space. I mean, who needs color in space? This is where ultraviolet takes over.
It's like deep in the ocean where color does not exist unless you shine a torch on it.
That's where true enlightenment lies, beyond our perception. Realms of dreams and magical fairies. Help Save Our World Speak, number 78, Self-Mastery. Mastering your states of consciousness continued. Life skills that will improve your life and your states of consciousness continued. Hello, I'm Dennis Moore, your host for the next hour. Welcome to our 78th Help Save Our World Speak online speakers meeting, where we are changing the conversation to change our world. These meetings are based on my book, Beyond the Age of Ignorance, The Quest for the Truth, Change and Transformation. Our vision is to create a love-based, happy, healthy, and sustainable future for all life on Mother Earth. We believe that the only way to help save our world is to empower you with the truth, the knowledge, the skills, and the wisdom which you need to change your life so you can help us help save our world. We cannot do this alone, so we are empowering you to join us so we'll make a radical difference in our world together. Let's start with introductions. Alex?
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm based here in South Africa, and my purpose to join these meetings is to learn more, grow more, and to help inspire and get people to change their way of life so that we can all live better lives across the planet.
Excellent. Thank you, Alex. Brennan?
My name is Brendan. I'm from South Africa. I join these meetings to better my life and the people around me, and to help show people that there is a certain way to live without the necessity of big organizations.
Excellent, Brennan. Thank you. Self-mastery. There are no reliable shortcuts to self-mastery. It's a process that has to be lived. You have no alternative but to live your experiences, live through them, to feel your emotions, face your challenges, and learn from them, then adapt and change your life to better deal with them so that you can survive and thrive and then transition while creating a better world around you. Because our world's healthy life is intimately connected to your health and your life, as are all living systems connected and reliant on all healthy living others. So all life depends upon your natural life mastery to continue to exist. Humanity's self and world-destroying disease is living with the biased ideas, the abstract ideas, lies, deception, indoctrination, distractions, and addictions. The disease is bad, unconscious programming. That's what's keeping you and humanity from rising up to your true potential. You're all programmed to make the rich richer at no matter what the expense to all life on planet Earth. And your only way to turn this all around is to take personal responsibility and personal control of your life. Live responsibly and practice your self-mastery while focusing on our collective vision of growing an equitable, happy, healthy, and sustainable future where we all thrive, living in love, balance, and harmony, and naturally create the future our children deserve to live in. Stimulants, drugs, and alcohol use cannot replace self-mastery of your altered states of consciousness. Think of alcohol, weed, and many other psychotropic drugs. They can give you a way out of dealing with reality in the now which can be very helpful sometimes when you feel overwhelmed, but they're not the solution. More importantly, though, they can give you a window to the other side. However, nothing can replace taking responsibility for your life and dealing with the problems you have to face and work through in this life. While some mind-altering substances like weed and ayahuasca can reveal the truth, the vibrating energy nature of reality, and that is very helpful to awaken them, other people, to the nature of everything and facilitate their awakening experiences, which they wouldn't usually be open enough to experience. So in this way, these substances could be helpful, but this would not be my first choice of methods. What you experience is unpredictable. It could be euphoric and amazing, or it could be horrifying and terrifying, and any experience in between. It is a huge step as well that you would handle a lot better if you were properly prepared for it, like the people who have done this course know. Then, of course, excessive use of any mind-altering substances will be harmful to you, because becoming lost in that reality means you're not functioning in this one. And life on earth is about living sustainably in the here and now, on Mother Earth, as one with her natural vibrational energy flows. If you choose to take mind-altering drugs to get in touch with reality through mind-altering experiences, make sure that you select a safe place with people you can trust, like a trusted shaman. Remember, not being in total control of your consciousness is seen as a weakness by others. If you're not in control of your body, mind, and consciousness, others will take control of you and often take advantage of you. I know this from years of unacceptable experiences. Why don't I use them? Well, it's because of my extremely low tolerance for any of these substances, which dramatically affects my state of consciousness and my connection to the metaphysical and my relationships to reality. From experience, I know that if I am in some form of altered state of consciousness, I have to constantly check in or check back into reality to keep my feet on the ground in this physical world, grounding. So any mind-altering experience is far too extreme for me. Just smoking weed has put me out there for long periods of time, 6 months, 8 months, lost, unable to function, making it very difficult for me to return to living this life and functioning again in this world. But maybe that is the whole point. Once you have seen the truth, you know our Western religious societal way of life is so discordant and incongruent with the truth. You'll never be the same again after you've seen the truth. So, by taking these mind-altering substances, it can be an unmanageable shock to your system and to your psyche. With your awakening happening so fast, it can be extremely challenging to deal with that much information, giving you total information overload, combined with, of course, the changes that you're compelled to make so suddenly when you realize, oh my, what the truth is just like, it's just like mind-blowing to you. It also would be why those in power make these psychotropic drugs illegal, so they don't lose their control over the mind-controlled people. Anybody want to comment? Alex?
Just, a few things. One, I would love to know what weed you're smoking. That puts you
one drag, I'm like, woo!
6 to 8 months. Yeah, wow.
I'm gone. Yeah.
But let's get real. I mean, there are drugs, there are medicinal drugs, there are drugs that hospitals and our medical force use on a daily basis, which are used as medical drugs. I mean, for example, cocaine. Cocaine is used as a medical drug to assist with broken noses and broken bones, and used in the medical industry, but yet taken on a recreational purpose is considered, whoa, you don't do that. So there's medical drugs. And if you go into the Amazon jungle and you chat to the Amazonians there, their connection with the earth is they're able to see the energies of the plants. And they can tell you what is a healing plant, but also a healing, mind-altering plant as well. A reconnection, a reabsorption of the universal energy to reconnect to it. So that's these drugs like ayahuasca, which is considered one of these mind-altering plants, but with a healing purpose, a reconnection, a refocus, a reestablishment of your connection with nature. There are a few out there. I'm not in touch with all of them. I've just heard about a few. I haven't tried any of them myself, but they are apparently healing psycho drugs, mind-altering drugs, and they actually heal you at a mental level as opposed to a physical level. I think that's super important. And yeah, I've added that to my bucket list to try at least once.
Awesome. I like that point that you brought up about the pharmaceutical industry goes into the Amazon jungle, discovers all of these drugs and says, okay, well, we can use this for that. And they change it a little bit and they register it as their trademark and whatever. And then they use it in the medical industry. But then if you try and use it for any other purpose, it's like taboo. You've now taken drugs and you should be thrown in jail for the rest of your life. It's like, where is the logic behind that,
Yeah.
And I love that other point, that it's that awakening to the true nature of who we are, which we have lost, which, the connection to the plants and to the animals and to the trees and to everything around us. It's accessible once you break down the divide, the walls, the barriers of our unconscious programming that we've been exposed to throughout our civilization and our education systems and all of that. So I love that as well. Brennan?
Well, I agree with Alex that I would also like to know what weed you were smoking. However, I don't find that most drugs are actually dangerous if you are around the right people and with the right crowd that you can trust. Like you said, a trusted shaman. Or I don't get why people make drugs illegal. I mean, if somebody wants to take drugs, go ahead, take drugs, but make sure you are not overdoing it. Number one, because that just kills your brain and your body and everything. And number two, that you are always around friends that you can trust or family. I mean, my father even used to tell me, I don't mind if you do weed, make sure you're here when you do it though, because you never know what the effects might have on you.
Yeah. And of course, it's like you can hurt yourself by not being fully in control of your psychomotor control, your physical movement and whatever. So you really need to be in a safe place. So I love those. Great ideas, both of you.
Yeah, and also on that, I mean, there's two things there. I mean, number one, everything in moderation. You eat too much, you hurt yourself. One of the healthiest things you can eat, I think, is leeks. You eat too much leeks, you can hurt yourself. Everything in moderation. Same with everything else in the world, and same with drugs. Try everything once. I believe in try everything once. And also, I can't remember what the second thing was. It just like vanished out of my brain.
Well, when it comes to you, just tell me. Just interrupt and speak.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So for me, the quest for the truth, change, and transformation is a more natural and manageable process of rediscovering the truth and changing and transforming your life through living it and dealing with it and self-healing while learning self-control and self-mastery, through which you're changing your states of consciousness naturally, sort of as like the master of your living vehicle. This way is more controllable, reliable, and dependable. You're in control of your choices. You choose who you wish to connect with without any outside interference and without using any mind-altering substances. The secret to living your life well is through mastering your natural, healthy, happy, balancing, harmonious states of consciousness, not giving that control away to others, and not losing control of your consciousness to substance abuse. I've lost my wife through it. I have friends in serious trouble because of it. There are extremes which are extremely destructive, as Alex was saying, if taken to the extreme. Don't go there. All right. Anyone, any comment? Did you think of what you wanted to say, Alex?
I did. And one of the main reasons why I haven't done this yet and gone down this route is I'm a very controlling personality where I'd like to control my person. Feeling out of control slightly for myself, I go into sort of like a panic mode or have panic attacks through that. So it's not something I want to take on, lightly. I want to be in a safe place. I want to make sure that I'm safe, got the right people around me, and I want to make sure that I'm in the best possible situation before I try anything like that. And I think the same goes for everyone else. Not in the right situation, as in, okay, I'm now in a field, I've got my friends, I've got the right music, I've got the right tempo, or anything like that. Be in the right place in your life too.
I agree with that. I've had friends who've done it and have been like listening to my teachings, and then they come back to me and it's like, Dennis, I went on this trip and it was so amazing, and I get what you're saying. It's like, whoa, Dennis, I really had no idea. And then, a couple of months pass and they go back to South America and they have the most horrendous trip that you can possibly imagine. And like you say, it's like, if you are not in the right state to venture out on one of those journeys, you could turn this into an absolute nightmare. But if you're in this magical state of being and you go on this trip, it's like, oh my gosh, it is like an extension of that magical state of mind.
Yeah, that's where the healing begins.
Exactly. That's why I say, if you've gone through this self-healing process that we've been going through, which is a lot more pragmatic, and it's like, okay, you do this and you do that, and this changes. And then you get to this place where now you step off into the void, and it's like, I've got this, as opposed to, oh my gosh, what the hell's happening to me? My head's spinning, everything is moving in front of me, and I don't know what to do, and I'm lost and I'm terrified. I think preparation is fundamentally important.
Absolutely.
All right, hypnosis. Hypnosis can be considered a separate state of consciousness. Its positive and therapeutic use is not to be feared. Hopefully, you use it wisely and with the intent of healing or improving your life. I have read that while you are in this state of semi-unconsciousness, you're still consciously aware of what's happening to a degree that you're able to exit that state of consciousness if someone were to suggest anything that may harm you. So you do have a defense mechanism in this case. While under hypnosis, you have handed over your guidance and control systems of your consciousness and unconsciousness to a trusted other. In this way, hypnosis can be helpful as a psychological tool for dealing with undesirable unconscious programming, like stopping smoking and alcoholism. It can also be beneficial as a regressions therapy, where you regress back into past lives to solve current life's problems. While some people are more responsive to autosuggestion than others, that's an important thing. It's like, I try to get hypnotized. Us boys in the family had a friend who could do this hypnotism thing. And my one brother was like straight into it. He was hypnotized. My other brother was like, not really. And me, it was like absolutely no way I could become hypnotized. It's just, I was in control of my consciousness. So it's just like, no way it was going to happen. So hypnotism is not for everyone. Having said that, I'm not in any way trying to promote the fear of the unknown. Like anything else, if used wisely and responsibly, most things can be helpful. Personally, I prefer to be the master of my own consciousness, unconsciousness, and subconsciousness. And I would be horrified at the thought of being used for cheap thrills in a stage act. Now, having brought the subject up, I can't really get into it in any great depth, but Brian L. Weiss, Weiss, MD, wrote the book, Many Lives, Many Masters, and I have a link here if anyone wants it. And he talks about one of his amazing patients who he transformed her life through regression therapy. So it'll teach you a whole lot more about hypnotism. Now, other ways of changing these forms of programming could be acupuncture. If you've got alcohol problems and so on, you can use acupuncture, or EFT, which is called Emotional Freedom Technique, which is a tapping version and positive self-affirmation version of acupuncture. These methods have had great results with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorders. I'm not a doctor, but what I've read, where every other form of medical or psychological techniques have failed, the above three have been successful, which is hypnotism, acupuncture, and EFT. There are also many other natural techniques to heal oneself, which are not promoted by dominant money and power and the pharmaceutical-driven Western medicine machine. And of course, another way of solving these problems is with things like ayahuasca. You find that people go in with these problems and they come out after the ceremonies and everything, and they never drink again. It's absolutely astounding, the effects and the healing that goes on through those medicinal ceremonies. Alex?
Yeah, as you're talking, I'm actually looking at an article. I'm not sure, its origins or how true it is or anything. It's from newscientist.com. And it's about how the FDA has actually given the go-ahead for further trials to involve psychedelic drugs to promote the treatment of genuinely effective, long-lasting treatment for depression and other aspects here. And one of them is, I can't pronounce this word, psilocybin, active ingredient in magic mushrooms, is beginning to look like the real deal for the treatment of depression.
Wow.
And could be used soon in 2021.
Wow. So, I mean, science is always behind us. They catch up eventually, but it requires open-mindedness and the willingness to go there, which the dominant powers don't want to happen, because unless they have control over it and have a way of making money out of it, they don't want it to happen. But there's a lot of pressure from the sort of awakening communities of the world to make these things happen. So it's awesome stuff. Brendan?
You were saying about hypnosis. I've just got a theory that, not a theory, I have an opinion.
About?
My mom was a very, very rough alcoholic, right? And I say that with all lovingness. She was really bad. Like when she ran out of alcohol, she used to go to the next door neighbor and drink all of their alcohol. And there was never not alcohol in the house unless she had finished it that night. And we tried AA, we tried basically everything until the person in charge of the AA eventually said, why don't you try hypnosis? And we took her for hypnosis, and from about 2 or 3 sessions that I remember, there was about 2 or 3 sessions, and she didn't drink ever again.
Wow. I mean,
So
that's amazing. So
I think it was pretty cool.
That's amazing. All right, cool. So let me go on. There are many other named states of consciousness, all of which require many different methods to master. They all deserve our full attention, but unfortunately, we're going to have to do them in other books and courses. Some examples are depression, anxiety, addictions to alcohol, smoking, or other forms of addictions, each of which needs much more in-depth attention than we can give in this chapter. But like Brennan's just said, there is an example of how hypnosis can be used to cure alcoholism. So we will deal with these aspects later, but I'm not ignoring that they do exist and they are states of consciousness. It's like, why are you feeling depressed? Why are you locked in this way of thinking? Why are you feeling anxiety? Are there ways? And I must tell you that there are many, many ways and incredible ways of dealing with them. And I teach those things every day to my friends and to people around the world. And I've made a huge difference in many people's lives with these concepts. So I'm not ignoring their importance or anything like that, but we just need to move on and get this chapter done, because one book can't be every book. Any comments on that, Alex?
No, absolutely 100% agree. We can cover this in another chapter.
Awesome. Alignment and focus. Now, this is a critically important thing. The totality of who you have become will affect your consciousness, your perception, the way you see things, and the world you manifest around you. What you focus on, desire, and tune into, you'll attract more of and become. You'll also receive guidance if you're open-minded. Ask for it, focus on it, and listen in for it. To receive the truth, you have to align with it, become the truth, and live by the truth. Any comments on that?
Other than 100% agree? No, no comments from me.
Excellent. How you interpret what you perceive is affected by many things. How you receive or how you perceive reality can all be interpreted by you with your mother tongue, which is culture specific. Your language is deeply affected by your culture. How accurately you interpret the truth and your normal depends on your subconscious conditioning, your values and beliefs, your moral code, ethics, your culture, the totality of your life's experiences, like all of the things that you've experienced from your life, throughout your life, have an effect. The totality of your life's experiences, your perception of those experiences, your learned and developed perspectives, and your accepted paradigm. What you accept as the package of the way of life you've been conditioned to believe in affects what you receive and how you perceive it, or how you perceive it and your reality around you. Change any of the above factors and you change what you receive, how you perceive it, and your whole way of life changes. The things you do are based on your existing program, your moral, an ethical program, and so on. Now, for an example, after experiencing a near-death experience, NDE, most people recount their experiences based on their upbringing and backgrounds. For example, if you're suffering from a religious indoctrinated paradigm, you'll interpret your NDE within the limitations, language, and values and beliefs of your religion. On the other hand, if you're awake, informed, conscious, and wise, and live by the truth and love, you will hear the actual truth. And that truth will set you free. But your language, values and beliefs, moral code, paradigm, and culture you function within will determine what you hear and how you hear and interpret it, and then speak about your NDE. So people passing away on the doctor's table, and they go through this whole thing of recounting their life's experiences, and then they find themselves meeting with friends and family, and then they go off towards the light, and this feeling of total happiness and freedom and security and all of these things they feel, they will explain those experiences when they return, because it's near death. It's like they are dead maybe for a period of time, but then they return to life. And when that happens, they will tell their story differently in context with who they are or were in their life. But then there are others. After their near-death experiences, will return with a singular purpose of transforming their way of life. Having seen the other side and learned the truth, they realize what's wrong with their past indoctrinated way of life. They're faced with the incongruence and recognize their need to change, heal themselves, and help save the world. So these NDEers naturally begin their quest for the truth, change and transformation, and radically begin changing their lives through the process. Major life-altering events are other examples of the things like NDEs, where we experience extremes like divorce, loss of a loved one, wars, social collapse, economic collapse, family breakdowns, losing your home, losing your job, an accident, some trauma, some form of trauma. These are often our greatest gifts that bring about our essential life-altering changes that you or we need to make. Focusing you in so that you're able to let go of your inertia, your reluctance to change the way of life you're living, making you, like even forcing you to step out over the edge so that you can spread your wings and fly. I think of these extreme experiences as gifts of guidance. More than trauma or drama happening to me, I'm not a victim of what happens to me unless I refuse to learn the lessons. Then I am a victim of my own choices. Any comments?
No
Alex?
comment from me.
You don't think that these traumatic experiences do have an effect on us?
Absolutely, I do think that the traumatic experiences have a huge effect on us, as well as many of our experiences throughout our lives. I haven't experienced one, and I haven't read up too much about them to fully comment.
Okay, Brendan?
Well, when my father passed away, he was only 53 when he passed, or 54. So when he passed away, it opened up my eyes a little bit and made me realize, listen, I have no one to take care of me anymore. I have to change the way I live. I have to change the way I act, change the way I behave, and start looking after myself.
That's awesome. I mean, that's exactly the thing, is when you reach these stages when something's not working, and I quite often used to do that. It's like I would go and I'd work on a yacht and I'd make a lot of money, and then I would live for 2 or 3 years without actually working. And I'd reach this stage where I ran out of money, and it would be traumatic for me to like, okay, I have to switch up. I have to change gears. And I would run around, make connections, contacts with people from the past, and like, oh, do you know of any jobs, and da 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 da, and bam, I'd start doing something else. And it's something that happens pretty regularly throughout your life. It might not be so extreme that it's a death, but it could be anything. It could be all of a sudden you find yourself in tight economic circumstances, and it's like, okay, what did I do? What do I need to do? And how do I do it? And then making a plan and doing it. But you wouldn't have made a plan unless you felt the squeeze. So the next thing, we are receivers, change makers, contributors to, or creators of the vibrational energy of consciousness of the living universe. Now, it's one thing to think that we're actually changing ourselves and we're changing our reality around us. But what we do here extends out into the universe. And when we leave, we take that with us. So our energy tone is the one thing that we bring into this world from a past life, get to adapt and change throughout our lives, and then leave behind in the hearts and minds of the people who remain behind in the world. We also get to leave this world with that energy tone and radiate it outwards to become the nature of the conscious universe. We're creators of the tone throughout life and the creators of the conversations, relationships, information, ecosystems, and available forms of consciousness out there as well. So when we speak or write something into this world, it becomes part of our reality. While we just dream or think about it and forget it, it passes by. It passes us by. We can have natural information conversations and can receive connections as they vibrate into the universe. So you, me, and everyone else can focus on, tune into, and receive these conversations or the information as and when we need to access it. It is just a case of being in the right state of mind and tuning in to what we want to receive. Contrary to what we have been taught, that we live in a material world and we are material beings in a mechanistic material world, we are non-material vibrational energy beings of electromagnetic space, transmitters and receivers of energy information, and within which reality and non-physical reality is being created, sustained, and maintained. So all of our senses are energy, vibrating energy receivers. We're receiving this energy information. First, we receive information in vibrational energy patterns, which we tend to interpret as patterns, symbols, images, words, flows, or conscious energy. Next, we process this information and interpret it in relation to the totality of our life's experiences, our culture and language, which we convert into thoughts and then into language, and we speak in words and sentences. Finally, our thoughts, emotions, and feelings radiate outwards as patterns of energy, vibrating energy, for others to receive and process. When our energy synchronizes with our desire to receive specific patterns of information, we tune into that information and receive more of that. We are creators and we create our reality. So what we feel, think, say, and do matters, because that results in what we magnetically bring into our reality or tune into and magnify, like amplifiers. Like an antenna tuned into a specific frequencies and amplifiers of what we have received, we bring it into our world and enlarge its effects. What you desire and ask for, you will receive. How you receive what you ask for might not come to you in precisely the way you anticipated or wished to receive it, but the universe will conspire to give you what you've asked for in some way. So to get the ultimate state, or to get what you want, be positive and you'll attract positivity. Be a creator and you will be able to, or be empowered to create. Be loving and attract love. Be inspirational and attract that into your life. Be curious and a seeker, and you will find and receive what you seek. Be love, receive love, and eventually become more of the same. This Venergy is received as we live in our Venergy world, solar system, galaxy, and universe. It can also be received as if you were living as one with the full-colored dream world, or as abstract symbolic representations of meanings as you would receive in dreams, to physical manifestations of somebody who has passed on, as I have experienced and perceived with my wife returning to me after she had passed on. You can communicate with the non-physical, with people who you're apart from, but you have a close consciousness connection to. It's called telepathy. So you can communicate with non-physical entities, people who have passed on from this world. You can communicate with your non-physical ancestors and guides and wise others. You can even tune into universal wisdom. There's so much wisdom out there, and you can access exactly what you need to know. You can have all sorts of conversations with the non-physical and with your physical world around you. You can also instantaneously connect and receive information and understand without time and space. This transmission of information is scientifically called action at a distance, which is only possible because we live in a connected, vibrating electromagnetic universe. However, this can only happen if you trust and you believe it's possible. As humans, we are selective transmitters and receivers of universal and natural knowledge and wisdom. Think of us as channels or receivers of information, receiving if we choose to tune in and synchronize with what we wish to receive. We can then choose to talk about it and write it down and bring that information into this physical world. Our physical limitations. Okay, before I go into that, any comments? Alex?
Yeah, I 100% agree that, we're connected and we can communicate with ourselves. We can communicate with our inner selves. We can communicate with the environment around us, as well as the external or passed on energies that have recently left this world or continue to leave this world. So I do believe that 100%.
Awesome. Brennan?
I think Alex covered all of that in that statement.
All right. So now these factors are like so important to me, and you have these gurus that are like, oh, you're living in the world of infinite possibilities, and in reality, we have these incredible physical limitations living in our world. Heading of this paragraph is our physical limitations. We must also be aware of our physical worldly limitations to our thoughts, language, and the things we do. Unlike the instantaneous non-physical, when you're out in the non-physical, you want to know something, that's bam, it's like you have this full understanding in exactly that moment. It's like total comprehension. We have to mentally process our thoughts physically, electrically, chemically in our brains, then thinking, speaking, and doing, which all takes time. These are some of our physical worldly limitations. Think of your mind's processing ability as a bottleneck or a funnel through which you must selectively receive vast amounts of information. And because of our limited selective focus and selective attention and simplified language and communication methods, you filter out your limited physical abilities and only use what you're focused on and can process and bring into this material world. These are incredible limitations. These are what slow our perception of reality down and way of life down to living these rather simplified ways of life on Mother Earth as one with her. Now, I'm not saying that we don't have incredible potential and that we don't know what we don't know, but you can't lie and say, oh, you are capable of infinite possibilities and so on. It's like your credibility when you're teaching people depends on you not exaggerating and telling the truth. So just be wary of that. Although the information, knowledge, and wisdom of the universe might have limitless possibilities and combinations with instantaneous knowingness and instantaneous understanding when in your non-physical state of existence, your selective perception, attention, focus, physical abilities, and self-imposed limitations make your reality and your perceptions and interactions with it very limited in your physical world. So what might be possible in non-physical is often impossible in the physical world. This gearing down to life on this planet is one of the most significant factors in having to live in this physical world. There's also consequences living in this world for every thought, spoken word, and action, and having to choose the specific makes us more focused and able to decide what to bring into our reality and what not to. So choosing well, constructively, and responsibly is fundamentally important. Like living to sow, grow, and create a better future is our best choice. It takes time, but is gratifying and fulfilling. Destroying, on the other hand, is very quick and easy, but it makes us feel bad and will destroy your life and your world. So choosing well is one of the fundamentally important concepts in our world. Any comments?
No, nothing from me.
Okay. You can live in constant communication with the non-physical, ethereal, and metaphysical realm. I live by and function as like a channel of information or communication from the non-physical universe. I interpret with my language, paradigm, and perception of this physical world and bring it into existence by thinking it, writing it, speaking it, and doing it. According to my experiences with the non-physical, what I receive from the non-physical is pure, honest, accurate, authentic, and perfectly aligned with love, life, balance, harmony, and the natural wisdom of the universe, and in perfect alignment with the flow of life and Mother Nature. It is like the epitome of empathy, love, kindness, compassion, consideration, and so on. It is the perfect expression of giving and receiving freely, connecting and balancing living conscious universe. It is the purity of the guiding light and natural wisdom of nature. For this guidance, I have immense gratitude and great love. Thinking of it makes my hair stand up all over my body. It's so uncanny and so pure and so amazing. I'm curious if it's the same for everyone, or is it just an echo of what I'm focusing on and asking for and thus receiving? When you look at a tree, you see it as patterns of what it is relative to you, flowing towards you. It freely gives you the truth of what it is, radiating out towards you. It cannot lie. It is what it is. Only humans distort the truth, create bias, abstract ideas, deceive, and lie for ulterior motives. We need to change that. Any comments? Alex?
I'm not sure how to comment to that.
So what communication with do you have any communication with the non-physical, or are you interested in it, or with the ethereal, like talking to your grandfather or feeling his presence, or is there anything like that that you would like to talk about?
I do feel things sometimes. I feel like I do connect to, I've had two experiences where two people have passed in my life. I wasn't too connected with them in their reality, but I felt like I was able to connect with them once they passed, to receive certain messages from them. And I felt those were truly relevant in that moment, however fleeting it was. But in terms of connecting with people, I haven't, or connecting, I don't have a crystal ball on my desk, and can't see the future. And I've never been able to feel like I've been connected on that ethereal realm at all in my life. I can see a tree. I fully accept the tree and its purity and its love and its connectivity. And that's what I'm linked to. That physical, what I can see, I believe, aspect to it. I do believe we're connected in every different way. I do believe there are people who can communicate, who have communicated to me in the past, and he told me my future, my past, and didn't know me at all. So I 100% agree that there are people out there that can. I'm not one of them, and I'd truly like to be. But at this point in my life, I have not experienced that.
The thing is, the most amazing thing is we're all connected. It's just a case of becoming consciously aware of that connection. And that's the journey. It's a whole lot of lessons, learning how to get there. Because that information is what guides you, and you're receiving it all the time. And quite often, I would be in America and thinking about something, and you had been thinking about it exactly the same time. So we were doing it without being consciously aware from your side that we were doing it. It's a journey of discovering those things.
Absolutely. But I do feel that you're way more connected than I am, because I would be like lying there thinking, how much I'd like need to speak to my father right now. And within an hour, you were phoning me. And it's like, okay, what's wrong? I heard you calling me. What's wrong? And that's very much from your side than mine.
Yeah. Okay, Brendan?
Yeah, conscious connection is a difficult thing to explain most of the time. However, I have had a good connection with my father when he was alive. And every now and then I still do hear him. I don't see him, I don't talk, well, I try and talk back to him, but not in a cheeky way. I know that sounded like it was like, okay, I'm talking back to my dad because I'm naughty boy. But no, it's more of I can't really communicate with him on that level.
Okay. All right, so we'll leave it there. I think we're at the end of our hour. It's 5:13 and we started at 5:10. So any comments, what do you think about the whole general meeting and everything? And was any of it helpful?
Absolutely. The fact that I found out that the magic mushrooms help with depression, I think that is something I definitely want to
That wasn't in my notes.
I definitely want to go and have a look at that. But no, I mean, bringing it forth and bringing it to my present. I mean, I've been suffering a little bit with depression lately, and I do feel it's something I need to tackle. And maybe this is the conversation and the point in which to actually say, okay, well, this we discussed it. It's come to the present, it's come to the know, and let's deal with it. Let's use this connection that we've established this particular answer for and follow it through. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's like the critical thing. I'm like opening doors for you. That's all I'm like the facilitator, as I said before. It's like, I don't know everything. And that the universe is like this absolutely incredible, beyond comprehension possibilities of information and knowledge and wisdom and whatever. And all I'm doing is within my limited use of language and limitations in this reality, trying to open doors for everyone so everyone can see the truth and find new ways of dealing and whatever. But it's up to them to take that and make those connections and like, there's another possibility, So
yeah,
I love that.
And make those steps a reality. I mean, I could take this opportunity that's literally been shown to me through this conversation and through this meeting, and I can take it up, or I could let it go and continue to suffer and figure it out on my own, or find another door that opens along the way. I mean, that's life, isn't it? It's opening and closing doors. It's pushing and pulling in the right directions in order to find your connection, to find your sync, to really dive into those connections and really feel them and be a part of them and go from there. Yeah. Like I said, I don't see dead people or anything like that, and I don't see my future. I don't see aspects that I'm not supposed to see, and maybe that's a journey I need to go on to really open me up in those avenues. But I don't think that is for me. I think I need to be the person I am with the amount of knowledge that I am in this particular life. I'm sure there have been many lifetimes that I've been more open or more closed prior to this point. But this is my journey, and this is the one I need to be on. And, I'm not going to condemn myself for not being more open or, not trying to continue to be more open. I mean, if that is what I want, what I truly want, I will go on the courses, I'll do the meditation, and really focus on trying to be that person and open up those channels in my mind. But I don't think it's my purpose. I think my purpose is a very physical purpose where though I'm connected and I hear and I see a lot of doors opening and closing when they do, I'm not connected. I can see a lot, but I need to stay focused on the more physical aspects of this particular lifetime.
Yeah. No matter what it is, there's no judgment. It's like, I've only learned and discovered and become through, I don't know, I was just thinking about from the first time I started writing this book, I was about 27 years old. So that's 3 and 4 is 7, 37 years of delving and experiencing and learning and changing, and it's a long journey. And of course, my whole life has been this journey of trying to discover the truth about reality. So, I mean, that's like 64 years of a journey. And that was my purpose. So I have created that as my life's experience and my purpose and my vision and so on. But that's not everyone's choice, Some might choose raising a family as being their big thing, or whatever it is. So, and there's no judgment, there's no higher or lower. It's just somebody is somewhere on their journey. That's it. And nothing's more special than anyone else, because all life is just as special as every other life, from the tiny little microorganism to the ant to the worm to human beings to those that have passed on. We're all relevant and important. So there's no judgment. Brendan?
I agree with that 100%. Everything is special in every way, and everybody has their own outlook and aspect. that they need to deal with.
Yeah, it's your journey. It's unique. It's special. I mean, just being alive and being in this world at this moment in the possibilities of existence and non-existence is, to me, the most magical and most incredible gift and thing that could ever be. The odds of us not existing are just infinitesimally great against the concept that we would be here, or the idea that we would be here, or that we are here. It's like, oh my gosh, how fortunate and how lucky we are. And are we going to make the best of our amazing life's journey? This one opportunity at this particularly important time where the world is in serious trouble, and we are the people who have the insight and the knowledge to make that difference for our world and for future life, and for my grandson, and for your son and the sons. And oh my gosh, this is the most epic, amazing opportunity that anybody could ever be faced with. So all that's required is that we do our best. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love you all. You carry on. Say, Alex.
No, it's all good.
I love you all. Thank you for listening to me and for this meeting. It was absolutely wonderful. And I'll see you next week. If I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the Zoom window. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.